Hi everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to just kind of concentrate on leaves and see if I can help people out with making them. Now, keep in mind that I'm probably not doing these exactly by the book because I've been doing them so long that I have my own little twist in them, but just to give you some idea. And my recommendation is to find a surface, whether you have a piece of glass or a piece of wax paper, something where your paint will flow nicely on, because it makes it easier. You need to train your hand, basically, is what you do, so that it's an easy flowing feeling when you're actually creating. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Today I'm just using 3 colors of paint. I'm using Berry Wine, Wicker White, and Thicket. So I have them spaced out on my plate, and you can use whatever you want for, sorry, just moved the table, for your palette. Right now I'm just using a styrofoam plate. A lot of times I use a glass plate so I can just wash it off. Using 2 Amagic paint brushes. I need to invest in some new ones, but I'm using a number 12 and a number 8 flat brush. And you can make leaves with whatever type of brush you're comfortable with. I just happen to be comfortable with the flat brushes. Ankle brushes are great. I'm going to go ahead and dip one side of my smaller brush into the Wicker White, one side into the Berry Wine, and just do some blending strokes. And for a change, because I'm trying to work with the glare, I am using a piece of crayon. I'm going to see how that goes. I've never painted on this before, but I'm going to see how it goes. And when you're dipping your brush, just get it as full as you feel comfortable painting with. When you're painting on gloss or whatever surface you decide to paint on, the more paint you have, it just gives a better coverage, because a lot of times people are concerned about the paint chipping off. But if it's more of a solid, thicker, opaque part, loaded brush, it will be easier to keep the design on. So some people will start, if you want to have there's whatever direction you want to have your leaf flowing. Some people will start by doing an X, and all you're going to do is just push your brush down like you're mopping the floor. Just think of it as, okay, put my brush down, and I'm going to clean the floor. You can do a few strokes like this if you want. Again, I don't always do that. And then you can take your brush on the chisel edge and run it through. So once again, I'm trying to make sure my hand's not in the way. Apologize if it is. I'm going to go, I can do a couple strokes here if I want, and then just push it down, just wiggle your brush. If you want to reload in between, you can. And some people will say, oh, you don't have to do that. Well, you do what's comfortable to you. If I feel like I don't have to do it, maybe somebody else feels like they have to, if that makes sense. All right, so let's see here, another kind of a leaf. I'm trying to think here. You can actually have it to where it's kind of going down. Let me make sure I'm still on the screen here. So you have it like that, an upside down version. I'm not sure that's going to get my what I wanted either. But some of them will be, you're going like this direction, I'm upside down. It'll be going down, and then you turn your brush and go down like this. And you can make it more prevalent if you wish. Let's do another one again. I want to make sure I'm on the screen. And to just note that you can do a lot of wiggles, meaning like this. I'm just going to practice wiggling. Where you're pushing it down, you're making a lot of little ripples. Or you can do it where you're doing big ones. It's just a matter of the pressure you're putting and how big you're making your strokes. So then I'm going to show you on the larger brush doing the same thing basically with the green, and this is actually my favorite green, the white, just to get them blended in here. And many people say that your brush needs to be loaded 3/4 of the way up the bristle. And of course I'm used to painting, so I don't tend to do necessarily, you know, what's stated. Let's see here. So then just your easy one stroke. You just press down, you can turn. Or you can do where you're doing one side, and again I didn't start off with the V, if you'll notice. So then I can come over here and actually go like this. Just make it, kind of went through it, but just make it straight. I don't know what's wrong with that brush. You know, and any time that you feel like, oh, I don't like that, and if you're doing it on a surface that you can wipe off, just wipe it off, start over. Not a big deal. And like I said, when I mentioned the wax paper, it's just that, you know, you can keep practicing on it, get the feeling that you need. You know, pull them in like that, or you can do some that have one rippled side, and then you can come back here and ripple them, basically make a folded leaf. And if you want to have it to where the stem's coming out the bottom, you can do that. Or you can make it to where you're going like this, and then doing one down, connecting them. You know, just play with it. Just sit down and just get the feel for it. You know, the paint's not that expensive to where if you decide that, you know, you want to just sit down for a day, you know, an afternoon and practice, go for it. And there's just multi ways to connect them. You can use a liner brush too if you want. And then when you're doing this, if you want to go down like that, and then Hoping I'm getting all this on here. You guys have to bear with me still because I'm just getting used to the new setup. And it just kind of flips here a little bit. The main thing is just sit down and have some fun with it. I know some people get very frustrated with the leaves, but I like to do them. I think they're fun. And just come up, you know, if you want to add maybe a little bit more color to them. I just dip the one side of the brush into the berry wine. You know, leaves don't actually have to be green either. So if you want to use a different color for your leaves, go for it. And remember too, when I'm creating these, I'm a left-handed person. If you're right-handed, you may feel more comfortable starting in the opposite direction as opposed to what I'm doing. So please keep that in mind as well. And a lot of times we like to layer them, meaning overlapping is what I meant to say. Because as we know in nature, not everything's perfectly lined up. And you do short little ones, your chisel edge, or big ones. So I say, sit down, find something, a piece of material that you can sit down and practice on, and I bet by the time you're done, you're going to be more comfortable with it. And if it's not exactly like somebody else's, who cares? Just be creative. Well, that's one other thing I was going to show you too, is like when you're making these, I don't want to get too far out of the picture frame here, but when you're making these, if you make one side certain color, you can actually do the other side a different color, or you know, put your brush the opposite direction so that one side of the petal on the outside is not the same as the outside of the other petal that you're creating. And that is even a way that you can act like you're, you know, highlighting or following the shadows of the sun. You know, think about it. The bottom of a flower typically is lighter in color than the actual face of it. So if you do this when you're flipping it up, you know, does it make sense? Hey, if it does to you, that's what matters. And the main thing is that you're just sitting down and you're creating. And think of mopping the floor. I'm just mopping the floor. You can even flip it if you want. But those are kind of fun to practice too. Just flipping the petals, because as you know, they're not all straight and they're not all ruffled either. Hopefully you can see this one up here. You can do it to where you go like that. Both sides are actually smooth. And just turn your brush and come to the tip. There you go. Alright, that's all I'm going to do for today. As in my past painting video, I'm going to be providing the background music as a sound bath. I hope you enjoy that. So when you're ready, just sit back, relax, watch the video, paint along with me if you want. Very few materials. You don't have to use what I'm using. You don't have to use the same kind of brushes, flat brushes of any brand. But whatever style of brush you want to use, that's up to you. Go for it. You don't have to put a lot of money into it. Just do what you're comfortable with. Alright, I hope you like this video. Please make sure you give me a big thumbs up. You subscribe to my channel. And until the next time, I'll see you then. Have a good one.